Hi everybody, and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. This post is from the subreddit Relationships, and it's by user ThrowawayE4. Me, 21 female, with my best friend and housemate, 21 female, who is micromanaging my life. I don't know how to stick up for myself without being the bad guy. Please forgive me if this is jumbled. I share a house with 3 other people. My older brother Aaron, 23 male, a girl named Jess, 19 female, and Mary, 21 female. The lease is in my mother's name. My mother had previously lived here. I lost my job and my mom wanted to move to another state, so she made a deal with me. She would cover all the costs of bills until I got back on my feet, and I would cover rent so she has somewhere to live when she comes back in 12 months' time. Mary moved in because she had nowhere to go, and it kept a roof over my head as I wouldn't have been able to afford rent on my own. Mary and I were in the house alone for a few months after my mother left. It was fair and we got along well. The problem is that her attitude has completely changed since Jess moved in. She's acting very queen bee and we're all completely over it. She's become manipulative, controlling, and quite hypocritical. At the start we had agreed we would put a set amount of grocery money together every fortnight so we could have meals together. I was fine with this until Mary decided she would have her boyfriend stay 4 nights a week free of charge. I told her I'm no longer paying to feed her boyfriend, so if she needs to do that, she can sort that out for herself and buy separate meals for them. That was fine, however I've noticed she hasn't been doing that lately. All the food they have been eating has been paid for by everyone else because she has failed to put in for communal, for lack of a better word, food. Also, 90% of the time she walks around in a crappy mood and gives everyone greasy looks, but insists that it's everyone else that has a problem. She makes snide remarks about how little housework everyone's done. She insists that she is the only person that does everything. However, I clean up after myself and my brother because no one else should have to do that. Everything I do has to be approved or decided by her. What I eat and at what times, how many hours per day I'm expected to put into housework, what time is acceptable to shower so I don't inconvenience anyone else, how loud my TV is at night, what time I should be going to bed because we have to get up early and clean up before she has other plans. Where my money must go down to every detail. It's even gotten to the point where I'm not able to leave the house without her asking where I'm going, who I'll be with, and at what time I'll be home. Also, if I'm out seeing a male she doesn't know, she thinks it's okay for her to expect me to give her his number in case something happens to me. I appreciate the concern, but I'm not comfortable with that. She has a major problem with my brother. She bitches to him constantly about his Xbox being too loud for Jess to sleep. It isn't. I've sat with him often and I can barely hear it from the couch. He wears headphones at night when he watches movies and is too afraid to play music during the day because he doesn't want to fuel the problem. She is the loudest person I have ever met. She and her boyfriend sit up every single night until around 4 a.m. laughing and screaming at the top of their lungs, and when asked to keep it down, it lasts for 20-minute max before we're all woken up again. If anyone else was to do that, they would be abused in the hallway, like I was when I accidentally dropped my house key when I came home late Saturday night. Your house key needs to be quiet. What? Since Jess has moved in, she's completely dropped me. The only time she has spoken to me is when she either needs a lift somewhere, wants to borrow something, or is telling me to do something. If I walk into a room and she and Jess are talking in, she will stop talking or continue talking in whispers, completely ignoring me. It makes me feel like I'm being ganged up on. She hands out my Wi-Fi password to all her friends, even when I have asked her multiple times not to because she doesn't pay for it. She is constantly on YouTube or streaming things, making the internet too slow for everyone else to use, and I've asked her to consider that, and she is not. She is always moving things around in the house that belong to my mother, dumping them in boxes for me to deal with. I don't think she has the right to do that. I recently found out her mother is under the impression that she is paying bills, which she is not. She pays her equal share of the rent and that is it. I don't know why she would tell her mother that. Seems sus. I do not do confrontation at all, and it has dawned on me that that has been taken advantage of. I don't know how to approach her and voice my concerns without this being turned around on me. I feel used and walked all over, but it happened so sneakily over a long period of time that I didn't realize it until it was too late. I'm not happy living like this, and I feel like I have to walk on eggshells in my own home. I've told her we need to talk tonight when Jess gets home from work. However, I don't even know what to say. I'd like to start doing my own groceries, living my own life, and having her pay towards bills. How do I go about building a backbone without throwing away what was once a great friendship? Is it even worth saving? What boundaries do I need to set in place here? I cannot handle the Mary show anymore, and she needs to understand that she doesn't run this household and everyone in it. How can I tell her to butt out of my business in a nice way? Oh, OP, being nice is what got you in this in the first place. No assertiveness. Your so-called great friend took advantage of you because she knew she could. And that's the type of people that you really shouldn't be having friendships with because, well, you're gonna get taken advantage of course. I understand you got to this point because you don't do confrontation, which is okay, but at some point the gloves have to come off. This is it for you. Is she on the lease? No? Well then figure out how can you get her evicted. Honestly, just get rid of Mary. She shouldn't be living there at all. She's abused everyone in that household and is not really part of the roommate agreement. She's a conflict generator that has taken over your home. Don't allow it to happen any longer. She doesn't get a say. This is not a debate. But if you still want to play nice, well, you give her just one final chance. Either change everything or you get evicted. You've got 10 days to comply. And like I said, I think that is being nice because I would have had her evicted a while ago. And what would you guys do if you were in OP's shoes, or what would you tell her that she should do? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's move on to the community comments to see what they had to say. Her Highness Victoria says, "Where are you going? Out, and then leave. Change your Wi-Fi password. If she bitches, tell her that she can get her own Wi-Fi. Look up your mother's stuff so she can't move or touch it. As for your questions, after you have seen her true colors, do you really want to continue the friendship? If you two were super close, then she should be respecting you, which she's not doing. I hate to tell you this, but you're just being used at this point for free stuff and as someone she can talk about behind your back. If there's no living peacefully after your boundaries, get your brother on your side and tell both Mary and Jess they have 30 days to find a new place to live. They're making your home an unhappy place and you deserve better." Woovels says, "People seem to be ignoring the fact that you don't do confrontation. My girlfriend is similar and it absolutely enrages me. I've given years and years of advice for her to stand up for herself, be strong and shout your words. All in all, she's still her and doesn't do well with confrontation. So I'm going to ignore the obvious, which is to open your damn mouth and tell her exactly how you feel and let her know this is your place. Your other options include getting your brother involved. Where is he during all of this? Are you guys close? Do you communicate? What about Jess? What does she have to say about all of this? It sounds like she runs Jess around as well. Finally, why in the world can't you spend a little time figuring out a replacement? Why does she still live here after all of this? I understand you need the money to keep a roof over everyone's head, but why are you not actively seeking a new tenant?" CSNX says, "You have to change the habit of not being confrontational, or you have to just accept that you'll be walked on for the rest of your life. You just stand up for yourself. Say this stuff bothers you. Write down what you just typed and go over it with her in a rational, objective way. Does it sound like everyone else feels the same way? You're all fed up with it? It should be obvious you're not a bad guy. Stop paying for communal food. Have everyone buy their own food. Clean up after yourself. Point out when someone hasn't cleaned up after themselves. This is the time when you guys need to learn to be adults, which means being responsible for your actions and environment. Change your Wi-Fi password." I don't know if this is worth saying. I don't know how close you two were. I do know that you can find all that out if you talk to her. Communicate. You have to have heard that communication is the foundation of every healthy relationship, right? Well, talk to her. Tell her you love your friendship and that you want to keep being friends, but her actions and lack of responsibility are straining things for you. If she cares about you, she'll acknowledge and address the concerns. If she doesn't, she'll blow you off and blow up about things and try to accuse you of something. Additional information from OP's comments. I constantly tell her that what I do is none of her business, and she gets all sooky and acts offended as if I just insulted her grandmother or something. But it still doesn't stop her from asking again. Often, she follows me into the bathroom as I'm getting ready and hounds me until I give her something. My problem is that if she wasn't a friend and simply just a housemate, I wouldn't have a problem laying it down as it is. I guess what I want to know is, do I have any right to lay it down boundaries like these? I'm always told this isn't just my house, which I am aware of, but I'd at least like everyone to consider and realize that their actions affect other people. I've already said I'm buying my own food and that she needs to pay bills from next fortnight. It's her behavior and attitude toward everything that I need to address. I'd feel horrible completely taking away the Wi-Fi as she studies online. It's the constant streaming that is the problem. I've spoken to my mother about it and she isn't concerned about what I do here. She's only concerned that she's being taken advantage of by Mary and that she doesn't understand that she's renting a room, not a house. In all truth, if I didn't need help with the rent, she would not be here. Now, I'm more than willing to put myself in an uncomfortable position for a while if it means this crap will stop. I just don't know what to say or do since I've never lived with someone so difficult to get along with. I guess I'm just too afraid to be the bad guy for my own good. Though my learning from all of this is that I refuse to live with friends again after this. Okay, well, the community gave OP some pretty good responses for her to think about, and in the context we understood more about the house dynamic. So now let's move on to the update to see what happened next and how this story ends. I read every reply on the original post and I've taken them all into consideration. I called a house meeting last night. It didn't go as well as I hoped. She tried to turn everything around on me and acted oblivious to her behavior. She basically acted like a 3-year-old until I told her to cut the crap and laid it down. Only then was she able to agree upon the things I said needed to change for the sake of everyone in the house. Now, as a side note, I feel like I shouldn't trust Jess. Last week, I asked her if Mary had mentioned me doing something wrong to her, as I felt since Jess moved in, Mary only spoke to me when she wanted something from me. Jess told me nothing had been discussed between them and not to worry as she knows how controlling Mary can be, knows how as soon as someone else enters the picture, Mary drops her friends and acts like a bitch. However true that may be, I shrugged it off as that's not what I asked. Then last night, Jess tells me that she and Mary have been made to feel unwelcome by my brother and me. I have gone above and beyond to make her feel welcome and to get to know her better, inviting her places, driving her to work if she's running late, and helping her choose and set up new furniture for her room. Not once has she ever approached my brother and me and tried to start a conversation. It's all been me. She sits in Mary's room every night and only leaves when my brother and I are not in the common areas of the house. We haven't had a chance to make them feel unwelcome. If we're not cooking dinner, we're playing Xbox or we're barely home. Mary agreed that I hadn't made enough effort to get to know Jess and make her feel welcome, knowing that I even went out and bought cake mix and decorations, as it's Jess's birthday tomorrow and I thought it might be nice to do that for her. So I laid down some new boundaries and rules. All food is now separate. Mary and Jess are paying their share of the bills as of next fortnight. Rent and bill money is to be handed to me the day before I have to go and personally pay it. YouTube and streaming need to be used in moderation so that others have the chance to use it too. Otherwise, they can go without. Housework is now handled for yourself, your own washing and dishes, etc. And no one has the right to intrude on anyone else's business. I'm also going to be standing up for myself now, cutting this BS out of my life. I don't want to be treated like a doormat, and I would rather be the bad guy than being taken advantage of. I'm not biting my tongue anymore. I felt relieved after this talk as I feel that separating my business from hers will give her less control over me. I know now that these rules should have been laid down on day one. She said she would work on keeping quiet late at night and cut down her streaming usage. However, she's already failed to do so. She had her boyfriend stay over last night and my brother and I were again kept up until 3 a.m. with how loud they were. Her room is between my room and my brother's. I mean, they were ridiculously loud. She's currently in her room on YouTube while Jess is on her Xbox, which is connected to not only my Wi-Fi, but I've just remembered it's connected to my Xbox Live account. It's chewing up so much internet, I'm struggling to get my own online studies done. So, I have decided I'm changing my Wi-Fi password and Xbox Live password, and if they have a problem with that, that's their problem and not mine. Mary can always go stay at her boyfriend's house and use his Wi-Fi if it's so important. I haven't been around her enough to know if her controlling behavior has ceased though. My mother informed me today that she is planning to come and stay for a few days next week, and that she will explain to Mary the points I could not get across. If these new rules are still not followed, which I suspect they won't be, my brother and I are considering evicting them and finding a new tenant to cover the extra rent we will not be able to afford. Extended from OP's comments, all communication about Mary paying bills has taken place between her and my mother until now. I'm not comfortable with Mary and Jess freeloading off my mother, so that is why they will start contributing. There is no reason why they shouldn't. That is what my mother will be speaking to her about, not my personal problems with Mary. Also, I didn't actually say, use YouTube in moderation. I asked that they stop constantly streaming everything all day, every day. As soon as someone is on YouTube, everyone else can barely load Google. I'm in Australia, so my internet is shockingly slow as it is. I don't stream anything and I don't play games online. I don't even remember the last time I used YouTube for anything. I use my Wi-Fi for studying, social media, and Reddit. And of course, if after everything the problem persists, I won't hesitate to kick them out. If all goes well and we can all agree to show some respect for others, I will have no problem putting this behind me and having them stay. Believe it or not, we have good days too. I have changed my Xbox password and I'm working not only on changing the Wi-Fi password but also blocking their MAC addresses. Well, this is just great, OP. You grew a spine, you got assertive, and you're gonna set boundaries. This is awesome. Congratulations on the growth. It is fantastic. Now, considering they haven't moved out yet, I'm still gonna count this as a happy update because you are willing to push that button if you have to. So good for you, thank you for sharing, and all the best in the future. Take care, OP. And now, let's move on to the next post. This post is from the subreddit Malicious Compliance, and it's by user Deleted. Been everything in this room? You got it, boss. A few months ago, the two owners at my work had a huge disagreement, which escalated to full-blown screaming matches in the middle of the office and nearly into several physical fights. It came to a head last Friday, and owner A decided to pack it all in and leave effective immediately. After lunch, owner B called the warehouse manager up to the office and pointed at owner A's office, situated just off the main open plan office, and said, "I'm too stressed to deal with this, so I'm going home. Bin everything in that room. I don't want to see a shred of evidence that owner A worked here when I get back on Monday morning." The warehouse manager looked at the offending office and back to owner B. "Are you sure you want to bin everything, boss?" Owner B looked ready to explode already, and apparently this extra bit of clarification sent him over the edge. "Did I stutter? Get rid of everything in there or you can clear out your desk too." And so owner B stormed off and our warehouse manager took out his walkie-talkie and summoned up two of his warehouse staff and relayed the instructions. The warehouse workers questioned it and got the same answer. Yes, absolutely everything. And so they got to work. Owner A's personal effects were put into a box and sealed up to be taken to him by one of the purchasing staff who lived nearby. Everything else was bagged up and put into the bins. The paperwork and stationery were boxed up to be shredded and destroyed. Next, the monitor and printer were taken to the bins, followed by the desk and chair. When I left at 4 p.m., the warehouse workers were just starting to take down the wall-mounted bookshelves. I would have expected them to stop there, but when I got in this morning, there was nothing in the office. The curtains and blinds are gone. Plug sockets and light fittings were taken off the walls, leaving exposed wires. The tiles removed from the ceiling, showing the ductwork and wiring above. And the carpet that owner A requested be put in was torn up, leaving the underlay. Even the door with owner A's name plaque on it was taking off the hinges. It looks like a construction site in there. Owner B came in at 10 this morning, took one look at the bomb site and started screaming his head off and demanded to see the warehouse manager. He wanted whoever did this to put this right and then get off the site as they were fired. If no one owned up, the whole warehouse shift was fired. Our warehouse manager, never one to give a crap, just peered into the office and said, "You said bin everything, boss. Looks like they did," and walked off. Oh man, I guess owner B learned to give clearer instructions in the future whenever he's angry. Thanks for sharing, OP. And it's that time that we've reached the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed today's stories. I really did enjoy reading them to you. So if you did, then don't be shy and go ahead and give the video a like. And don't forget to subscribe or even share this video with people that you might think will enjoy my storytelling. Also, if you have the time, go down to the video description and check out all the links I have for you, from our Discord community to my channel merch. And finally, I'd like to say thank you for watching. It really means a lot to me that you enjoy my videos. And having said all that, I'll see you guys in the next video.